sit in the dark later, so on and so forth. Anyway, I'm here to teach a small but yet memorable text. One of the three cardinal texts of the Jewish people. The reason called cardinal text is because that's what Jewish mother used to teach the kids. There were three of them. They were in the morning. You can find it in the booklet. You have it on your left side. You have this the prayer, Shacharit. It's on the Koren Saksidur. There's some comment. Left side?
Right side.
Right side, sorry, right side. Okay? Right side, very short. Jewish mothers traditionally used to teach the kids three things. You would teach them the Modeh in the morning, giving thanks in the morning. Usually was for the mothers. Right? Thank you, Mom. Then it was Shema Israel in the morning, and then it was in the night, it was another Shema Israel before they went to sleep. That was the three cardinal texts of Jewish people. And these others, the Ten Commandments, other things, but this is the cardinal text. I always found that Modeh is a text of utter depth and meaning. It's almost like the sages of old, around, let's say, 2nd century, when they created this text, they almost by purpose put it there in the wrong time of the day. Really, we should have done this after, let's say, midday. We should stop everything and read this text. Right? I'm giving thanks to you all. Giving thanks to you. I give thanks. That's the most important part of here. Leaving God, that you return back my soul with kindness, compassion. Great is your relief. We really should do it middle day when we have time to appreciate. We're awake. We have 5-6 hours. Maybe we had a great successful day. Maybe now is the time to appreciate it. Instead of that, we're doing this when we wake up. Now, if you notice, the original text is a bit too long. I know, it's only 12 words. But really, the original text should be stopped before, thank you, living with eternal God, forgive me back my soul. That's where it really should stop. Everything else is addition a bit later, 3rd, 4th, 5th century. The reason we have them is those seven words at the beginning are the key thing. Judaism believe in direct discussion with God. Therefore, I don't even have to refer to him as God. I say, I give thanks to you, our King. I'm not referring to God in any of God's 7 names. I'm not referring to him in other 70 names that he has. I don't even try to come with any names over here. This is really me personally. I woke up, I'm giving thanks. I think it's unbelievable move by the sages. You have to wake up in the morning and immediately to give thanks for your existence. Normally people expecting to get something that is more physical, I have a nice house, I have a nice car, I'm married well, whatever it is, and then giving thanks, and even then they're forgetting. Here we insist that you do it every day. Before you even really have your full conscience, the first line, first words come out of your mouth, we give you thanks, because I'm alive today. Throughout history, today is a bit less common. People used to fall asleep forever. It was more common than today. And never to wake up. And therefore, especially when time of pressure and troubles, it was more common. This sentence had more meaning. Today, when we hardly sleep. This is not to show off, but my father normally slept between 4 to 5 hours a day. So giving thanks for what? It's a 4-hour break. This is like, come on, not a big deal. If you sleep for 20 hours, you give thanks after you're awake. I got it. But 4 hours, I just sleep terribly. So my average sleep is about an hour, then I fall asleep again. So again, what's the point of saying thanks? It's really not a good sleep here. So, but there's a purpose behind it. There's a purpose of really appreciating the simple things in life. The biggest benefit about reading those texts, and any text that I think any religion has, or any, especially of course ours, is that you need to find the unique points. You need to find what when you hire a good tour guide of Jerusalem, okay, if I recommend, I can give you a list of them. But also, for example, in Rome is the same thing. The idea is not to find what every tour guide have. You know, there's plenty of those. Is to find a tour guide that find something that you never heard about, ever. My favorite one in Rome is the oldest synagogue in existence, actually. It's in some part of Rome, I don't remember where, and it still has etching on one of the beams that says this is the synagogue of so and so who was in 5th century, was probably assistant to one of the popes or after him, but clearly it's mentioned there. And if you go, it's a wine store. When you go down and you ask the owner of the house to see the wine store, he opens the door, you can go down, and in downstairs, when there's a huge wine cellar, really nice, on the side, there's a mikveh. And it was there from beginning of time, so to speak. Something about Jerusalem. Take any tour guide in Jerusalem, they give you the regular show. Right? That's what they do. That's the job they get paid for. But how many of them show you, example, I'll just give you off my head, the pillar of the 10th Legion. Go inside the Jaffa Gate. On your left side is 2 hotels. Between the 2 hotels is a coffee shop, runs by the Greek Orthodox Church. Inside that particular alley, you're going in, there's a pillar. On top of the pillar is a cactus. On the top of the cactus is a flag of the Greek Orthodox Church. But that pillar is one of the oldest remnants of the 10th Legion who destroyed Jerusalem. But nobody cares. I mean, obviously, you put this lovely pot on top of it and the flag, but it is there. But if you have a tour guide who actually knows it, it's beautiful. Modeh is exactly the same text. Modeh is a text that it's so benign, it's so obvious, it's so clear, it's so easy, it's so simple. Once you put your mind into it, and it's not that long, that's the reason I picked this particular text, because it's short and sweet. You see the depth in it. I have the audacity, I mean that's my perception, I have the audacity to speak to God in first person with no barriers, not even doing the basic preparation to talk to a professional, to official, to a king. Normally when we refer to Jewish prayer, saying when a person pray to God, person speak to God, one should prepare, should go to mikveh before, should wear a gartel if it's a chassid, should wear a shaitel, maybe 2, whatever it is, and prepare all the steps to achieve godliness. You come to Modeh, you have nothing, just have to open your eyes, even if not necessarily you can open your eyes, and say, Modeh lefanecha melech chai v'kayam, shechzar lebi nishmati bechemla rabbi emunatecha. Just a few basic words. And they're cutting throughout all the barriers. They don't stop anywhere. You're really referring to God, say, God, this is a relation between me and you, and I'm starting it again in this moment. That is the unique thing about this blessing. And the rabbis, again, I think it's almost Machiavelli. Almost. It's unbelievable. You're starting the day, and you think, just a sentence, not important, but they put it in such a way that they make you think. If you take a moment to think about this particular prayer, it can take you, if you're really doing it properly and you really think about it, hours. If you really take this saying seriously, saying, what am I giving thanks to God? Okay, I'm awake. We realize some of us sleep more than others. Do I really thank Him that I'm alive? Do I really appreciate the fact that I'm alive today, even though my day today will be terrible? It doesn't say, I'm giving you thanks because it's so great and amazing. Giving you thanks. It's like we need to appreciate our parents. I know in our case a bit harder, but you need to appreciate them. Regardless of what they do, what they don't do, this is a common understanding. It's that today when you talk to an educator dealing with kids' education, and the common line is, you have to love your kids regardless of what they have done. Obviously. Because that's what the sentence says. Doesn't matter what the kid does, doesn't matter how bad the day is going to be, or how good a day is going to be, you still got to give the same thanks. You have to utter those words. You have to think from the moment you wake up about something else. And I think that's what moves you forward throughout the day. Traditionally, when the world was young, we believe that when a person goes to sleep, his soul, a favorite topic of the day, goes to heaven and receives a revelation, or has a vision, or has a dream, or the soul ascend to the heaven. And if you read a commentary on the bottom, which is not Rabbi Steinsaltz's commentary, but however, refer here to the fact that waking up in the morning is mini resurrection, as death, as sleeping is mini death. I'm not sure I like it too much, even though it's most correctly accurate. I'm not going to argue with Lord Rabbi Sachs. This is not what I'm doing this time of day. But in a way, in the old time, when we actually believe people that the soul goes to heaven, and is sent to heaven, in heaven the soul has this vision of the future, or the past, or the present. That was a big deal. I can see why this lesson will be, this sentence will have a lot of more meaning. Right, I had a great revelation. I should have stayed up there, but I decided to stay down here. Instead, therefore, I'm giving thanks. Again, I personally, throughout my life, I hardly dream, but when I had 2 dreams in my life that had meaning. I have many more, but those I remember. I had 2 dreams in my life. Both of them came to fruition. I'm not a prophet, don't worry. But it was very, 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 very fascinating. One of them had a nightmare for about 5 years, the same nightmare. Now, it was very good for me because it gave me a lot of reflection and exposure of my father, because I used to wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I see my father still learning, have a Talmud open, science fiction book open, and of course, the pipe in the middle. I had a nightmare, he was reading. Fair deal. And of course, when I came and tell him, I had a nightmare, so he asked, what was your nightmare? And I told him the nightmare. I said, okay, now go back to sleep. It's been like this for about 5 years, and then the dream stopped completely. And I was almost missed it. I had a nightmare, I had to go, wake up, miss it. And it just, again, because it's connected to the sentence. A year after they stopped, I had cancer. I suffered from AML4, and my mind connected the two of them together. I'm not sure there's any connection, but in my mind was the same notion. The nightmare after I recovered, the nightmare never came back. But the story is there that the dream came and awoke in me. And when I say Modeh, it's come to my mind because I really had a hard night, and therefore I'm saying it. When you really have the time to reflect, as my brother said, on the soul, on yourself, and have the ability to really give thanks for the most basic things in life, become real, become something you do honestly, internally and externally, everything is changed. You become a different person when you can actually give thanks to somebody or to something by the way your life works. Now, I told this to my brother many times that the fact we're both alive, now regardless of my cancer, we're both alive, the way our parents, you understand, we have a different world. It's something that you can imagine. My mother, one of the things I do is, again, because she's not here and she cannot beat me up, I eat schug. You know what schug? Schug is a Yemenite jalapeno, very, very strong. I love it. You know why I love it? Because my mother stopped making me sandwiches in age 10. And the only kid in my class that had extra sandwiches was the grandson of the chief rabbi of Yemen. And he literally had extra sandwiches, so I eat schug. And many of those. I remember when, childhood was different. But these are, again, it was always when you came back to my parents, when you had the mood and the time, the conversation was really all the time about the neshama and growth and what you do best and what you can do more, what else you can change. I don't think my parents ever told, again, I know this has become like a psychoanalysis and I'm going to thank you all, I'll pay you all later. My parents never told me no. Now, I'm saying that's because I'm very spoiled, but they never told us no. There was assumption you're going to behave in a certain way. There was assumption you do something, which I did not follow, by the way. Mechai did. But what I'm trying to say is once you wake up, once you realize that you have to give thanks to God, then the word, give me back my soul in mercy. That's the most beautiful thing. I'm not asking for a good day and a bad day. I just want even that interaction that you give me back a soul because you can take it anytime you want. That's done in a merciful way. The Chassidus, Kabbalah explained that mercy is coming from the attribute of chesed, charity, kindness. And sometimes kindness is to say no. Some kindness is to limit. Some kindness is to know when it's ending, when you not have to do it. And when the neshama comes back to you and it's immersed in you, in a merciful way, then you can really reflect on it properly. You feel that I have something to thank. This third part of the sentence, which is great is your faithfulness, is amazing. Again, this line, it's so common, so obvious. I'm saying it every day for the last X amount of years. I trust in God that His mercy returning back my soul is because He has a belief in me. Otherwise, you should not be retaining my soul. This is your faithfulness, your faith in me is great. That's the way I read it. Sorry if you have an issue with it or Lord Sachs, we can talk about it later. But that's where I read it. I'm getting back my soul because God is entrusting me back that part. It's not about Him, so to speak. It's about what is my potential. I'm here to do something today that I didn't do yesterday. I'm here to do something now that I could not have done if I would stay in heaven, so to speak. The essence, one of the essential stories of Kabbalah is the story of the Pardes. Sages are telling a story in the book, Tractate Chagiga, page 8, 2 lines from the bottom, or the top, I don't remember, but you can check it later. They're saying a story about the 4 sages who are trying to find the mysteries and secrets of God. And they are traveling in the orchard of divinity. The orchard of divinity is usually referring to an apple orchard, but what can you do? An apple orchard, and they are elevating themselves, and they're working, and they're doing all the meditation, and all the work to be done to reach what we call nirvana, or to reach the top, the reaching divinity in its essence, what we talked earlier about. So the 4 of them. Okay, so one of them goes in, get nothing. Like, okay, I came in, came out, nothing happened. It was very nice to visit the orchard, it was very nice apples, I'm out. Second guy goes in, goes out, become mentally unstable, which is, again, as we explained earlier, he had a revelation that he could not contain, and that's what happened. He went off the deep end. The third person, again, depends on the version of the story, but we'll take the easy one. Third one died. Again, explained earlier, he had a revelation, he saw God, he saw whatever he reached, his soul reached the top level, really, as you can get, as clear God, and therefore his soul just evaporate. The 4th one, Rabbi Akiva, which as we know was a late bloomer, started being a rabbi, a Jew, whatever you want, age 45, 40, married, top girls in class, teacher went to learn for 24 years or 12 years, made them one of the most amazing lines ever of what woman rights, whatever I learned was on her behalf, because she allowed me to do so. It was not on me, it was her. And then he died terribly. But in that particular point, it says about him that he came in peace and left in peace. He went all the way up. He reached divinity. He controlled it. He saw it. He appreciated it. And then he went back down to earth in peace. When we wake up in the morning, and the neshama is back here, we really, in one way or another, reach that level. We live that beautiful, amazing time, because this is what it is. Great is your faithfulness. That's what we have to do. That's what we need to appreciate. Thank you.